This is a spoiler warning. I warned you last week and I'm going to warn you again. Do not watch our show until you've seen episode 11, World Enough and Time. Because of spoilers and also because what I'm about to do will make no sense. Hello and welcome to the after show. Joining us on the sofa today is other executive producer Brian Minchin. But let's just cut to the chase. Pre-titles.
I know. Were you expecting that?
No, not at all. That just came out of nowhere. What are you trying to do to us? Brian.
Stephen sent me the opening few pages and said, is this too much? And I was like, no, I loved it. I thought it was brilliant and insane, and it's exactly how a Doctor Who two-part finale should open. It starts big and it's only going to get bigger. Something
like that just makes you nervous. For the next episode as well, we are just going to be completely on edge. We're going to be like, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? Nick Landon, the script editor, did say to us we could write a whole essay on those pre-titles alone, and I think he's right.
We spend a lot of time working out pre-titles. Stephen has lots of theories and ideas, and he says when he sits down to write, he always imagines everyone watching at home has their coat on and is about to leave, and the door's open, and he wants the pre-title to be something that makes you think, oh, let's stay in a little bit longer and see what's going to happen.
Let's talk Mondasian Cybermen. Obviously, they're back.
I mean, I think we've said before, they are Peter's favourite Cybermen. There were many a debate between Stephen and Peter about how great they were. And then we actually discovered, when we started designing them, that secretly they've kind of, that design, even though people moved away from it, that design, that look of a Cyberman is kind of stuck in people's heads. And Neil Gorton and his team kind of worked with us to redesign it. And the first day they were on set, it was like nothing else. It was like Kylie Minogue was back. It was like the studio, all work stopped, and all of a sudden everyone was in the studio with the Mondasian Cyberman. And then we just thought we'd put out a little picture before we filmed on location, and it went everywhere.
They're so iconic, and also I think so eerie and creepy because of the human face, which you can see sort of poking out through the sock material.
Material socks. We don't make people wear socks. Wear socks.
When I dressed up once as a Mondasian Cyberman on the show, and it was a pair of tights.
There was a lot of fabric technique involved, which I'm not the person to talk about. But the way it was joined at the back affected how ruffled it was at the front. So there was a lot of experimentation done with the type of sewing involved.
They look incredible. They're incredibly tall and strong and sturdy and frightening. Peter Capaldi, obviously a big fan of the Mondasian Cybermen. Back in 2015, we spoke to him on the show, and also, you know, he said this to everyone else who's interviewed him. He'd love to see the Mondasian Cybermen back.
Well, he deserves it, doesn't he?
He does, of course he does.
I mean, the way Stephen's mind works is kind of ideas kind of sit there and they work up, and he had a fantastic story for Mondasian Cybermen, which, I mean, you've seen the opening part of it now, which is a new way to do a genesis, that these are people being kind of repaired, that they become patients first, then they become Cybermen. So it was when the story was right, and it wasn't just to keep Peter happy. But I mean, look, we made him do all these hours and years of his life in Cardiff making Doctor Who. He deserves a Mondasian Cybermen.
He did, and I'm just so glad it happened. And when that photo was released, I just thought, yes. I heard that he was consulted on the design.
Yes, we show Peter kind of most things now. I mean, because not only is he playing the Doctor, and he's responsible for kind of drawing everything together and making the stories all work on set. But I mean, he's got such knowledge of Doctor Who, so yes, we do show him stuff.
This is the second time we've seen them in 3 seasons of Doctor Who. Do you think they still maintain their sort of threat?
I mean, I think for a Doctor Who monster, you have to retain a threat and scariness. You also have to have an element of fun. You kind of want to be something you might play in the playground. There's something, I mean, we're not doing kind of Alien here. We're doing something which you don't want to be absolutely disturbed by what you see. You want to have something which is ultimately going to be a bit of a laugh and a bit exciting. And I think that's where Cybermen and Daleks fit in. They're scary, yet if you're really objective about them, it's kind of silly as well.
Yeah.
I know there's real Doctor Who fans going, they're not silly, it means everything. But there's a fun to them. There's a,
yes.
Which I like. There's a, the way they stomp around, the way they talk. We've got Nick Briggs back, and we've kind of
I was going to ask about the voice.
They're talking about that kind of sing-song voice. It's not the scariest thing you'll ever hear in your life. There's a misconception that people making Doctor Who ever took it that seriously. I mean, in the 10th Planet, the Cybermen's clever disguise to sneak in is to put on some parkas and to sidle into the back of the shot. I mean, I know some people kind of forget that about the show and think everything's got to be very serious, but we keep... The playfulness is really important.
Yeah, and I think you have to counteract those darker moments, specifically the partially converted Cybermen. Do they have a name?
Yes, we call them the Patients.
Okay, the Patients.
The Patients.
I was wondering what they were called.
TS at the end. No. I realise I sound completely bonkers. You've just watched a really traumatising episode where we've done terrible things to Bill, and I'm saying there's an element of fun and playfulness. So I can only apologise because I think that's probably why the Cybermen need to be fun and playful, and as an idea, because the great thing about Doctor Who is we tell huge dramatic stories for a family show and for a science show, and we explore ideas that are darker, but we do it in a way which is hopefully fun.
So this is a fabulously Moffat episode. You've got a huge ship parked by a black hole. Time is moving at different rates. People get separated. How do you feel when Stephen comes to you with big ideas like this? It's
never what you expect. It's never where you think it might go. And he takes the ideas of Cybermen and their origin, and he takes ideas of black holes and giant spaceships. There's always a fantastic new take on it. So that's really exciting. The time moving at different rates is scientifically accurate. I believe it's called time dilation. Yes, time dilation is completely scientifically accurate, and Stephen's eldest son, Joshua, is really into his physics and has been lecturing his dad on this. And the graph which Peter draws, I think Joshua was part of. I have to be careful. My older brother is actually a real-life astronomer who works in a proper telescope. And if he's watching, he'd be like, going, "You're getting it all wrong." Oh, no. But it's... It's Doctor Who, it's fine. But time dilation is right. Black holes, no one really knows what a black hole looks like. So it's most likely it looks like it does in Doctor Who. This is a silly question, but this is just something I've noticed, and I just have to talk about it. There's an awful lot of eating going on in this episode. I mean, there's a bacon roll, there's chips, there's crisps, Nardol's eating a Jaffa cake. I mean, a whole series of adventures. Are the TARDIS team just really hungry? I had never thought about that before. Maybe Stephen was Stephen hungry when he wrote it? Is he pining for crisps while he's writing? Possibly. I mean, the 12th Doctor's become quite the food fan this series, because starting with Dr. Mysterio eating sushi, he's eating prawn crackers in episode 4. You have to see them eat some food, I think, because we never see them sleep or go to the toilet or eat food. So it's nice to see them just taking some time to look after themselves. This is the longest I've ever thought about it. Same here, I'm not sure I have big insights into this. I guess. What does it reveal about the Doctor? He's got broad tastes. He likes crisps and sushi. Yeah. And Time Lords can eat food. Does it say more about, are you hungry when you watch Doctor Who? It's made me hungry. Maybe you need to have your tea before watching Doctor Who, then you wouldn't be going, "Oh, I fancy that." Yeah. Especially when Doctor Who's on at 6:37. If you've not had your tea or dinner yet, depending on what part of the country you live in. That's a bigger debate, quite frankly, than the Doctor or Doctor Who. We can't solve Doctor Who and whether it's tea or dinner. And dinner. We could do a whole after show on that. Let's move on from food. We didn't even mention supper. And we haven't. Another fun thing I think in this episode is the sonic screwdriver being a pen. I think that's another thing that obviously Stephen Moffat has just gone, yeah, finale. Do you know what? Let's do it. We love the sonic screwdriver. I think it's great, and I kind of like that it's kind of got whatever function we choose it to have at any particular point. Yeah. I think it's great because we're doing these moments where we're freezing and going between the different time zones, and Rachel Talalay, who's directed this fantastically, had all these ideas. I think the moment of the sonic popping open. It's so cool. It's so fun. It's so Doctor Who, and it's so much fun. It's so unexpected. Available to retail in Christmas 2018. Michelle Gomez, quite frankly, has been one of the most bizarrely
wonderful things to ever happen in Doctor Who.
I think Michelle is just the most extraordinary actress, and I think it's easy to focus on the elements of kind of clowning she brings to it because she's so precise, and it's so difficult to do the type of things she does, to those little moments of invention. And I think that almost obscures the fact that she's such a brilliant dramatic actor, and what she's done with that character, and especially this series where we're kind of telling quite a different story with Missy, and we're kind of playing into the Doctor's wish to make her good and how she reacts to that. I think Michelle just surprises us in new ways with every scene, with kind of every line, and she's just brilliant, isn't she? I mean, every time there's a scene with her, you sit there watching the rushes going, wow, I'm just mesmerised by her.
She's not the only Master in this episode. John Sim is back as the
Yay!
Master! Wow! So we find out that Razor is actually John Sim's Master. I mean, how did the decision to come, so excited I can't talk. How did that come about?
It came about because Stephen said, he always had the idea from before we started even thinking about this series properly, doing the two Masters and the Doctor. And he had the idea that Missy would be in Revolt and the Master would be involved with some way of her in the finale. And John Sim's amazing. We kind of got in touch with him months and months ago when he was filming in America, and he was really up for it. So then kind of like 8 months after, we said, we've got like a script now, do you want to read it, have a look at it? And he leapt at it, and he's the loveliest man, and he's completely brilliant. And having watched what he did with the Master before, seeing him and Michelle together, it's amazing.
It's wonderful to see him back, and not only have I always wanted to see a multi-Master story on TV, it's this clash of two sort of eras of the show coming together, the previous Master and our current Master. And it's just wonderful when you get those moments where the show collides like that. I love it, and it's so fantastic to see them together on screen.
And you see loads of them together in episode 12, and there's lots of a kind of a clash of the two of them together and what it's like with the Master spending time with herself and himself.
Yeah. I love all of the nods to the classic Masters as well. You've got a little goatee going on, amazing costume as well, and also disguises are back. So what was the creative decision behind this?
We kind of wanted it to be a surprise, like an old school Master surprise, and kind of we weren't sure how well we could manage it, and maybe you all guessed, I don't know. But I think Neil Gorton again came up with this fantastic mask, and he did the voice, and we kind of thought we were probably along the right lines when we filmed in public for a whole evening with Razor out in the streets. That's actually the streets. It isn't actually a ruined desolate spaceship, it's Cardiff Bay. And people were taking pictures of the Cyberman and Bill, and no one recognised John Sim.
I remember seeing them, didn't know, didn't clock on.
And
amazing
so we
disguise.
thought maybe, but you know, we got all, you know, we had fun. Like, we didn't put his name anywhere. It wasn't any trailers. But we just think it's great fun, and it's a kind of very Master type thing to do.
Rachel Talalay is back. She's our regular season finale director now, isn't she? What is it about her work that makes her so perfect for season finales?
I mean, Rachel is just an outstanding director. She loves doing a finale. They're actually the hardest to direct. We've all run out of money. We've got huge ideas and ambition. We get like the script 4 days before we shoot it, but she loves it. She thrives on that energy, and she's done such a fantastic job. And there was no way she was going to let anyone else in the world direct this finale. She was kind of...
That is brilliant.
This was going to be her finale, and but she's brilliant. I mean, when you watch the episode, she gets every moment. You're on set with her. She's so passionate. She cares so much.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I just think everything that she's directed has just been so visually stunning. I think she's just amazing choices of shots and transitions and things. Wonderful. Brian, just thank you so much for your contribution to Doctor Who.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Before you go, we'd love you to play Top of the Locks once more.
Okay, Top of the Locks.
Yeah! Excellent, let's do it. So, this is Top of the Locks, where we measure the ups and downs of Hair in Who. We've got episodes along the bottom and intensity along the side. So, Brian, what do you think?
I'm going to open with Pearl Mackie for the awesomeness of her hair in the slow motion shot where she starts to fall backwards after she's been shot. it kind of fluffs in the wind and goes down.
Yes.
It's very emotional hair at that point. And, you know, to get emotion out of hair is that shows talent
Big
and skill.
achievement, yeah.
Also, probably equal, but I put him below because Pearl got shot and he didn't. Peter Capaldi's hair, which is getting more magnificent and more magnificent as the series goes on. I think you'll agree, and this episode in particular, I think it's the bouffant, what do you call it?
The floof?
The floof, yeah, I heard you call it before. I don't know what a floof is. I thought it was like a smurf, but...
Peter's hair, the floof.
Then, because he, of his complete own volition, we would never have dared ask John Sim to do this, but decided to have a goatee. It's got to be the master for the goatee. And he really went for kind of referencing the master and stuff. Now, I'm going to put Michelle next because I'm more scared of her than I am Matt, I'll be honest.
It's pretty terrifying hair, isn't it? It's just going in all kinds of directions.
I mean, she's got a good hat this time.
Yes.
Which kind of diminishes it. That's why she's number 4, I think, because of not confidence in her hair, so she put a hat on. And Matt, frankly, I didn't have anything to say about Matt, so he's gonna have to be last.
Oh, so after making a comeback, he's
Matt's
just
hair.
Well, thank you so much, Brian. And now over to Luke in the internet.
Hello and welcome to the internet. Just trying something new.
No big deal.
First up, Bruno from Brazil sent us this lovely piece of artwork inspired by last week's episode. I give it 5 crows out of 5. As well as amazing makeup skills, thank you, we also learnt a new word this week, Twissy, the ship name for 12 and Missy. Twissy fans were over the moon with the developing tenderness between the Doctor and his arch nemesis. Missy Fry painted this beautiful embrace, and Yang rendered the scene using ponies. Just because. Turns out a lot of you are inspired by Michelle Gomez's amazing Missy. Jose has pictured her at the vault piano with an amazing updo. This witty little knitter has rendered her in cross-stitch. Apparently this is only a quarter of the finished design, while Lewis has hazarded a guess at what John Sim's master would look like now. Well, turns out you were pretty bang on. Now, a few weeks back, we learnt that despite not having seen movies like Terminator or Alien, the Doctor has seen Frozen. This prompted Anya to reimagine 12's spoof regeneration from The Lie of the Land. Let it go, Anya. Meanwhile, Sophie treated us to this amazing and very expressive PCAT portrait. Ari compared the differences between Season 8 and Season 10 Doctors. And Stapy gave us 12 on a coffee break. Time Lord knows he needs one. Also, if you've not played yet, there are 2 fun games out at the moment. Time Vortex 360, where you and your phone can pilot the actual TARDIS through space and time, avoiding boulders and the like, and hopefully you'll be better than I was. And The Saviour of Time, a 6-part Skype-bot adventure where you can help the Doctor reassemble the key to time, again, and annoy some Sontarans, again. And finally, Bob made us hoot with this thought about the 12th Doctor's last words. Ah, the old M-board. Let's listen to that one last time.
Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Doctor Who YouTube channel.
Thanks, PCAP. That definitely needs a remix. Hint, hint. Also, don't forget to send anything amazing that you've made to dwthefanshow@bbc.com or tweet us at dwthefanshow, especially if it's remixes of the Peter Capaldi M-board. Well, that's all for this week. I'll see you next week, which for me is unfortunately 4 years away because I'm down that end of the ship. But there's a lovely chap here who's going to cybernetically augment parts of my body. Who am I to say no? Got 4 years to kill. See you later.
Thank you so much once again, Brian, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
We'll be back next week for episode 12, the season finale of Doctor Who. We'll be in Cardiff speaking to some very special guests. Until then, to see a preview of episode 12, click here. And to subscribe to the official Doctor Who YouTube channel, click here. We'll see you next week. Bye.